I just want to show you some of the benefits of the edges, okay? There's lessons that our landscapes are trying to teach us that we can't learn if we just mow everything. But one of them that we get is what's an edge plant? What is something that survives and persists in the space between grasslands, pasture, and forest over here? That's the species that I'm most curious about, because for me, those are those intermediate things that I want to replicate in the food forest. So I've been watching and waiting this spring to see what comes up. For me, there's a lot of blackberry that's coming up, which is a big improvement from greenbrier. Greenbriers tended to be the dominant one at lower elevations that I've been traveling through for the last few years. But along with these, I have a great favorite companion. This is elderberry, which is so exciting because I have a deep love for elderberry and all the medicinal benefits and the delicious pies that it makes. You can make the best pies in the world with elderberry. But all of these little guys, you see right there and right there, you see those leaves going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are elderberries. They have this particular kind of, let's see if we can get a good shot. There you go. You see those little kind of speckled dots up and down the bark here. These are all just emerging right now, which is amazing because for me, this is an edible medicinal plant that is capable of enduring the edge life. And that means that people have come in here occasionally, weed whacked it down, and yet it's persisted, right? It's coming back. It's coming back. It means it really wants to be here. It likes the amount of sunlight, which we get, I don't know, really 4-ish, maybe 5 hours of sun in here. And then you get mixed sun. But this is going to change as these leaf up. They're on their way towards leafiness. But right now, this is the stuff that wants to be here. And I want to imitate that in my food forest. The other one that I'm finding in quite a bit of abundance is cherry trees. So this is another indicator of what wants to be here and something that I will have an ease of success with. So as you can see, elderberry, 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 elderberry. I have been planting elderberries wildly, guerrilla style. You know, dig a little hole, do your business, sprinkle some elderberry seeds in there. I've been planting them for years all over the country, but I've never got to eat of them. I've always moved on. And now I just have this great joy of knowing that something has come before me. This is the cherry tree. This is like a pin. I think this is a pin cherry. Not the best for eating people-wise, right? However, the birds love it, and it's an indicator species for me that cherries are going to like it here. And you can see they don't like anything too wet, so they like something that's well drained. The water will kind of come off down here and go into there, but it's not sitting there persistent for long periods of time. They like something that's well drained, which is good. Apple trees and some of the other stuff that I'll be planting in here, they want it wetter. So this is going to be the transformation zone. I've got about a 200-foot stretch in here that I'm going to put everything into, and then I've got to manage my edges. This is where a lot of the maintenance in life takes place, is on your edges. So choosing and selectively keeping stuff that I want in there and stuff that I don't want, I won't really know until I get to taste these guys, because there's lots of different kinds of blackberries out there, and some are really yummy and some are terrible. Many can be not so good taste-wise. However, what that would incline me to do is to select for blackberries on this property. Lots of them. Thornless varieties, blackberries and raspberries. They want to be here. So I should follow what I'm being taught by the landscape around me. This is the benefits of these other zones in permaculture. We talk about zone 4 or 5, where we let nature do its thing. Because from there, we go to school. We go learn from them all the lessons that zone has for us. And that's those farther out areas of our property. So for me, because the inaccessibility right now with all the thorns and everything overgrown in this area, this is an area that I'm going to school in. This is where I want to learn from. This is where I want to gain my lessons from. And then when I come out of it, I'm able to replicate the successes of interspecies with my elderberry and my blackberries. Any of these are going to be ideal. The other one that I'm finding in endless abundance, see if I can find it here. Well, there's jewelweed is coming up all over the place around here, as well as strawberries. We've got wild, see, there's a little baby elderberry. You sweet, beautiful child. You delightful little creature. Grow mighty. I'm finding wild strawberries all over the place too. Virginia strawberries, a couple different varieties. which is fantastic. And they're at the ground cover layer. They're at the very bottom end of the barrel. So that's the size that's the type that I want to use in my ground cover in abundance, like crazy. I can't wait to find out what else is going to come out of this place. But these are some of the species that I'm finding in these early spring seasons. So best time of the year is for you guys to get out there and get to know what's going on around you. And what are those little species that want to be where you are? Imitate nature instead of trying to dominate and control it and coerce it back into the agenda of what fits your model of agriculture. And it's going to make your life easier. Life's hard already. Nature can kick your teeth in and win every single time. But if you can find out what already wants to be there, what will volunteer for the position and hold the ground, man, you're in a way better position. If I can figure out, I want to try to graft something onto these rhododendrons. I want to figure out something that's edible that I can graft onto these guys because they're so resilient and they're so persistent. So the other big one that I'm most enthused for as well, which loves the shade that you see along these areas, is currants. Currants are the absolute weapon of mass destruction when it comes to using shaded areas. You can use them so well and they thrive, and this is a climate that's going to rock with them. So something I'm really excited about. Anyways, that's my walkabout for you today. Live dangerously. Learn lessons from nature. Hello. Check this out. Ever since I discovered all that elderberry and I flipped out, man, it drew me out of the depths of despair so well. There's something else flowering over here I don't recognize. I am reinvigorated with my love for the Appalachian Mountains like never before because it's bringing all kinds of my favorite things on the face of the earth known as food. Gosh, I love food. I love to eat so much. And I really love when nature gives it to me for free. Sweet mercy of Yah. Now, this little elderberry right here, he's actually a pretty happy little guy. This is my elderberry, sweet beloved child now. So I am going along, I'm walking along all the roadways now because I'm just like, yes, I'm just going to drive along all these back roads and I'm just looking for this thing that I now recognize like my life depends on it because its leaves are highly notable to me. Now I will never forget it. This is how it works for me. It's like imprinted upon me, like the mother gosling finding her little chick. That's how it feels right now. I'm like, forever I'll be bonded to you, sweet elderberry friend of mine. Now, in order to propagate this, I'm right at the very last little legs of when I should take cuttings from this thing. So he's putting out his leaves. Like he's a little further along than what I want. I want him somewhat dormant still. So what I'm looking for is places where there's either just very tiny leaves and I can pull those guys off and propagate them that way. But what I do is I take cuttings from this, okay? Let me show you here. Some of these are last year's canes, I guess, and they're not turgid. They have no strength to them. They just crumble like they're weak, like many people's faith these days because of professorials and the abominations known as indentured servitude of college. Don't do it. Dadgummit, you think your faith will survive? It will not. Almost none of you will survive the professorial assault. You're just not insulated to it enough. You're just not. Don't send your children away to become indentured slaves in that system. Teach them the forest. Anyways, here's what I'm doing. So this guy, he has some areas that you see that? There's still phloem. There's still juices of life and vitality coming up this guy. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my sweet Felco number 6 and I'm chopping them. Bam. This is what I'm on the hunt for today. All of these, as many as I can possibly get. That little thing, okay, at the base where the twig comes up, I took the lower cutting a little different. But where this next little node is, where the leaves come out of, that will sprout out new leaves, like yonder, just like that, okay? The area at the base here will sprout out roots, will put out roots for me. Actually, all the little bumps, as I put this in the soil, I'm a fanatical psycho guerrilla gardener, so I'm going to just put these things every stinking where, and I want to just find out where it wants to be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lesson that I'm seeing here, which is that it's a super understory. This thing isn't in full sun much. Some, but not much, which tells me it's okay under shade. So I'm going to go in areas that look like this in the forest, and I'm going to shove it there. I'm going to put it in people's lawns, too, unsuspectingly, right amidst their landscaping, right where, if you want to creep along, like if you were going to break into their house, that perfect spot you'd hide, put the elderberry right there. Bless them. Yes, he who steals should steal no more, but should work diligently with his hands so he has something to share with others. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm sneaking away down here and using my
hidiness, just the fun of sneaking onto people's properties and taking their waste materials and then giving it to somebody else so it can be more abundant. Just beautiful life, recycling things. There's no trespass. There's a trespass offering, but there's no law against the orphan coming onto the fringes of your land and collecting their tithe. That's what I'm doing, son. That's what I tell people when I go spearfishing in their lakes too. I'm like, what are you doing in there? I'm like, harvesting the tithe that you've neglected. The land is crying out as a witness against you. They generally don't get it. Anyways, I take my cuttings here. Some are going to be longer. Some will be shorter. Okay. And I have my little collection pouch where I'm storing them up. Yay! And so I'm just taking all these little guys here. Oh, sweet Ehud, left-handed. So I'm taking all these because he hasn't put out yet. Now, what's cool about this is even I can prune this thing down to the stinking ground, take all the cuttings off of it at the end of the season when it goes dormant, it goes to sleep. I can take every single one of these off this thing, just prune them all off, root them out, and then plant them. And this thing will grow back from the ground, happier and more thankful because all it wants to do is give. Hallelujah for the givers. The elderberry is like that. Sempacus. It just wants to give life. You know what? It just needs the stewards who will regard it. Come along and be like, you know what? Nurture me, and I'll give you an abundance. Be that guy. Be that gal. Come along and nurture nature, and it will nurture you so well. I know why people call it Mother Earth. I get it, you know. I don't worship the earth, but boy, do I worship the creator of the heavens and the earth. Hallelujah. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah Elohim Sebaoth. So good to give us the fruit in its season. Oh, and I was so sad yesterday. Moving again. All of our stuff in and out. Dadgummit, I get tired of doing it. I get a little freaked out with everyone around me. My family's like, oh. We're weary of it. But the good news is he gave me elderberry. Then he gave me Juneberry, which I'm even more geeked out about. I can't even wait to tell you. That's this guy up there. It's going to look like green stuff to you and flowering petal leaf stuff. But that tree up there is like what you ever hoped a blueberry would be. It should replace all of your blueberry cravings in life. Saskatoonberry. The people from Saskatchewan say that they're much sweeter up in the north. They need cold winters to be sweeter. I learned these lessons. But it's amazing. It's delicious. It's Chelsea and I's thing that literally got us completely addicted to North Carolina and the western Appalachian Mountains when we came up to Asheville and we first picked mulberries and Saskatoonberries.
City foraging. What are you doing, Nay?
Picking Juneberries.
Are they so good, Nay?
Juneberries. We're like, I love it here. And we found garnets in a river. Well, hello. If you happen to see tiny little streams in mountain areas, you should get your face in them immediately. Because there could be gemstones waiting for you to find. Come on, son. Check these things out. There's tiny little crystals of purple. Let's see if I can find a really good one. Oh, look at little purple crystals. You know what we're trying to find out? Whether that's amethyst, potentially, corundum, or even garnet. Because there's beautiful treasures in the mountains. And you should look in the streams and get your hands wet. And not even a little bit, all the way wet. You should be soaking wet. Because just yonder here are gemstones. Been waiting my whole life for it.
Right next to the road.
Next to the road. Don't drink the water. Don't drink the water, honey, please. Thanks, honey. Thanks, honey. And we were like, this is the greatest place ever. There's gemstones and delicious things we can eat. That's what drew us to the Appalachians. We fell in love with it. We're like, this place was made by the Creator for us to live in. Hallelujah. Anyways, I'm going to go look at the edges of all these roadways here, and I'm looking for things that want to live and are medicinal. And I'm accompanied by the wonderful wisdom of people that came before me, who then share that knowledge. And they're like, hey, this is how you propagate these things. This is what you can use for these different seasons. Because some plants are medicinal right now, right before they put out their buds, right before they put out their leaves and their flowers. Others are medicinal as they're flowering. Others are even medicinal while they're putting in fruit. So I'm trying to use and regard each thing in accordance with its season, because he says we're supposed to bear forth fruit in its season. So we should regard these lessons. Anyways, I'm so excited. Go out there. Propagate those elderberries. Okay, I guess real quick lesson on elderberry propagation from a guy who's not done it once. I watched other people that did it. all kinds of different options that are out there. You can put those things down into the dirt, just straight up in people's lawns. You can leave it like that. You might get 30 to 60% of them might take. Who knows? You won't know until you try, right? Otherwise, you can propagate them out by putting them in a rooting solution, you know, put them in water with solutions of things like baking soda, vinegar, like a tablespoon of baking soda, a little bit of vinegar, and some sugar. It's the pure acid, crystalline form of acid known as sugar, cane sugar. Get off it, guys. It'll kill you. It will. Just slowly, a little bit at a time, like hydrofluorosilicic acid. Death, known as fluoride in your drinking water. Anyways, don't use that water for your poor plants. They'll be depressed, just like your horses. It'll kill them dead. Look it up. Anyways, you propagate them out from the water. You get a little starts of root buds coming out, and they're like, yay! Put them in soil. Keep it damp continually, but not sopping wet because they'll rot. And when they start to put out little tiny roots out of the bottom of your seeding pot, you know it's time to plant that thing. The other thing is you can lay them in a seed tray, like a flat germination tray, really, really shallow. Put holes in it. You can lay them in there so their leaves are sticking out like this guy. Some of you are uncomfortable because I have these things next to my face. I've clipped millions of things with these. You can leave them sitting out like this and then bury all the stem, as much of the stem as you possibly can, in soil. Keep it damp, and you can put a little like humidity hood, something to keep it nice and moist, but not the leaves wet because the leaves will rot. And you don't want to put these things out in direct sunlight either because those leaves will burn, son, because they got no roots, and that's how they cool themselves down. That's their air conditioning system. You cut them off, they're going to be sweating like a southern man in the depths of August. Savage. Anyways, that's how you propagate them. When they got their rootiness, put them in there. The other way is if you already have a garden and you have some space, drop those suckers directly into your garden bed and make sure that they're buried down deep, like to the leaves. Sink it to the hilt, son. Once you do that, you just leave them there until springs comes out. Pull them out, nice, loomy, lofty, soft soil. Pull them out, plant them where you want them. Good to go. Anyways, we'll experiment with all these things this season, and I'll take you on the journey. That's my elderberry story. I hope you guys live dangerously. Plant elderberries, sneak into your neighbor's land, and plant food for them. Don't ask permission. If you have to, ask forgiveness. Some of you aren't going to like that. It's okay to ask permission. That's fine, you guys. But listen, make sure that you're only going to bring a blessing. Look at this. Look at this. Check this guy out, man. He's all geeked out. Look at this. Oh. He's got to be like, 10 feet tall, son. Come on now. Now he's getting more sunlight, so he's digging life. He's like, yeah, I can afford 6 hours a day because I'm mature. Look at him. Look at all of his Shalomi homies. These are all his babies. Oh, you just gotta dig it, man. Don't you just dig it? I love it. Look at, there he is. Oh, he's so vibrant. Morning sunlight walks. Ooh, it's illustrious. See, and they got like fresh spring waters just burbling up around here. Oh, they're so happy. Seriously. Tiny little, see? Seeping springs. Go where there's water. Please, yeah. Send us where there's water. It's so good. We traversed all over this country. It's really hard to find life in deserts, but it's there too. It's just harder lived, harder loved. See, most of the stuff, I'll try to point at it. That's the elderberry. The brightest, greenest stuff right there. That's the elderberry right there. See him? There he is. See, this whole stand is just elderberry, okay? And of course, blackberry. This is what I'm going to imitate everywhere. And then Juneberries. Those are all black elderberries back there too. Elderberry. This is just a whole stand of it. Hallelujah. The Creator's good. Creates good things. Woo! Gets me all pumped. All right. Let me just show you where I'm rooting them out for today. I don't have any willow. I haven't found willow yet, which is the other. I should have told y'all. Willow. You can use willow to root out stuff. It's got a rooting hormone compound in it. So you can just put some willow shoots, cut a bunch of branches off a willow tree, drop it in a bucket of water. That'll stimulate stuff to root out. Go for it, son. So I don't have my rooting compound or willow, but I just need to get them in water. So I have a creek. I took my cuttings of elderberry. And I found black locust. I'm looking for any nitrogen fixers that are already here, that are doing the thing here. Mimosas, nitrogen fixing, awesome. Their flowers are incredibly medicinal. They help to relieve anxiety and depression and general sorrow, known as despair. Anyways, black locusts, they are very rot resistant, strong nitrogen fixing trees that I can use to grow all my hardy kiwi. I'm going to grow kiwi like crazy and passion fruit. So I'm going to grow them on these guys, but they're here. So I've got cuttings of them. I have no idea if that'll work. We're just going to go for it. You're going to just do the classic
Reynolds experimentation thing here. Just shove it in this wet, boggy soil for a little bit here until I can get them in a proper rooting such. It's going to be great. Have fun. Root stuff out. See what happens. I also harvested some beautiful dogwood flowers for medicinal properties of life.